What do you know about Glenmo? A beginner's guide for Glenmorangie.
Stay tuned. What's up, guys?
Hey, guys. It is Scotch for Dummies.
4 guys on a Scotch journey to help you with your next Scotch purchase.
Look at all this.
It's a lot of stuff.
This purchase broke the bank right here, right?
I mean, this is like crazy. What's going on?
We must love all our viewers.
I wish we did know. I think that we need somebody to help us out on the Glenmo. I mean, look at the lineup,
Do you know
guys.
anything about Glenmo?
Not
I
enough.
know.
We could just taste them all, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You're not doing anything tomorrow, right?
Well, what we need is an expert. Guys, there's a guy back here. I think we should probably.
That guy knows some stuff.
You get that guy here, he can run us through this, and we're good to go.
You know what? Hold on.
Whoa.
We got that.
Drew's a magician.
Just like that. Like that's
Internet magic.
Boom.
Hey, we got Dan Crowell, U.S. Ambassador for Glenmorangie.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey,
Welcome to come to the bar.
basement.
You didn't get a choice, but we appreciate you coming anyway.
They're not going to miss you.
We're kind of a pickle, Mark. What's going on?
Yeah, we did that to you, Dan, because we need some help with this.
Great.
Everybody that's watching wants to know just what in the world Glenmorangie's up to. And so we've tried to digest it and break this into, palatable pieces. But, man, we need you. So can you give us a rundown, section by section, what these bottles are, what it means to help everybody make the right selection for their next Glenmorangie bottle, right? Isn't that what we're looking for?
Let's start with.
Let's start
number
with.
one.
Yeah, we're going to go down and we're going to start from the beginning, Dan, and see where we get with it.
Yeah.
So here we are with the Glenmorangie 10. I think this is the starting point for you guys. This is the first bottle range in your lineup, right?
It's the doorway into the world of Glenmorangie for me, and one of the things that I think is really important about it is that it forms the basis for almost everything else we do. If this is our theme, these are our variations. Glenmorangie original and unpeated style of whiskey making from the coastal North Highlands of Scotland that sees its entire maturation life in a combination of first and second fill ex-bourbon oak. Unpeated barley, a lovely complexity to it, some really nice fruit, particularly citrus notes happening in there, honey, toasted coconut, vanilla, a beautiful dram either by itself, possibly on ice, maybe as a long drink. Very versatile.
43% is what it says.
ABV, that's right.
What's the price point on it?
You're looking typically in the low 40s, usually something in the 40 to 42 range.
I get it. It does vary, across the country and in other countries. But knowing that it's 43, I assume it's chill filtered.
It is.
43%. It is what it is. Call that, and that's for a reason. But. When it goes from here to the next ones, what's the jump? What makes these guys different from this guy?
So far, if we just take that singular jump to Lasanta, we haven't changed ABV
Lasanta.
yet. Yes, that's the one. And there'll be a slight packaging change that'll happen in the next month or so. But so far, we're at the same ABV. And for the first 10 years of its life, it's essentially what you have with original. But if we took original out of ex-bourbon oak and put it into sherry casks for an additional 2 years, then you're going to find that will impart some date and fig and toffee and nutty, slightly like unsmoked tobacco notes onto our original base and creates a really lovely shading that we call Lasanta, which is Scots Gaelic for warmth and passion.
The math adds up. 10 years, which is this, and then another 2 years, and some extra flavorful casks, we'll say.
Right.
And this is still 43%.
43.
So, I mean, honestly, the only thing that's different is the age statement, and that age statement is because you're maturing it into different kinds of casks after the fact.
Right.
Then we go over to this guy. This guy really is just a variation of that. I mean, it's literally, it's 10 plus another 2.
That again, yes. So today's version of Kinty Rhubarb in the black bottle is a 12-year-old product. Tiny bit of jump in proof up to 46 ABV or 92 proof. But instead of being finished in white Spanish fortified wine casks of sherry, this whiskey would be finished for its additional 2 years in Portuguese fortified red wine casks or ruby port casks.
There is a difference.
So you see the difference in color right away, and that's all natural barrel pigmentation. Tends to shift away from dried fruits to darker fruits. I tend to get a little bit more, and this is for the 12-year version. It's about to become a 14.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
A little more plum, a little more cherry on the front end, a little bit more like an old-fashioned in a glass. A little fruit, a little bit of bitterness, a little bit of interesting astringency in the mid-palate. Bottle at 46 ABV.
Which means non-chill filtered, probably.
Right, yes.
Okay, so taking a guess there. Then now let's talk about price points. We knew that this one was in the 40s. These two we're getting into.
Yep, La Santa is going to be just under 50. Quintaruban's probably going to be in the 55 to 57 range.
Okay. And then there's one change that's going to happen with this Quintaruban here, and you said it's actually happened.
It's already happening. When the bottle changes from black to green, it will go to being a 14-year-old product. Still bottled at 46 ABV, still finished in ruby port casks, but that extra age is going to leave just a little bit more depth, a little bit more patience in the way that it develops on the palate. But essentially some more of those berried dark fruits and a little bit more of that mid-palate, interesting astringent wood spice as well.
I don't want to get into it on a beginner's guide, but I'm sure there's a reason why you guys are changing from a 12 to 14. I mean, it's 2 more years. It's a lot more expensive for you guys to do that. What's going to happen to the price point when this
It's going
happens?
to stay the same. As a matter of fact, when La Santa gets its new packaging, its price point will be reduced to what we just quoted, just high 40s to low 50s. Where right now it's in the mid to high 50s. I'm taking the price of La Santa down, and Quintaruban, even though it'll go from a 12 to 14, will stay at the same price point.
Interesting. I want to finish up the core lineup here with this last one right here. It's a little bit different. It's got a weird name. I don't want to butcher it. I'm going to leave that one to you. But it is part of the core, so let's get into that.
Sure, yeah. So the structure of that is going to be about the same conceptually. 10 years in ex-bourbon oak, just like original. Okay. And then 2 years, not in a fortified wine cask, but in a dessert wine cask from France, from the Bordeaux subdistrict of Sauternes. So a little bit more intense sweetness, but also some really interesting French oak spiciness. Bottle at 46 ABV again.
46 ABV, and you said Sauternes. What's the price point on this?
You're looking at it in the 70s, basically.
Okay. So there's a reason why it's a little bit more expensive, because those Sauternes casks. Is that where we're going to go?
Sauternes barriques are quite expensive to reclaim. They're about $1,100.
So, I guess Mark got you through the first, 5 bottles?
Basically, yes.
All right, so here's kind of the cutoff for the entry level, I guess, Glenmo lineup. Basically, right? So what are we looking at when we go this direction?
These next two, the 18 and the Signet, we call them the Prestige range, which is shorthand for more expensive.
Yeah.
The 18 usually sits on the shelf around $125, and the Signet at about $225 to $240. With the 18, we're back to a 43 ABV product here.
Okay.
And it's going to see some influence of Oloroso sherry, just like the La Santa does, but not every drop of this gets into a sherry cask. In fact, most of it stays in ex-bourbon oak for its 18-year maturation.
So it's basically the 10 for 18 years with a small percentage getting a little bit of
sherry influence, right.
And our price point was 120
or so.
All right. So then when we move up to Signet, what are we talking about?
Things change quite a lot. So yeah, with Signet, the bottle looks different because the whiskey is different. There is at least some element of it that is based on roasted barley, malted barley that is then tumble roasted like a coffee bean until it's quite dark.
Okay.
Now there are about 8 different whiskey concepts that become Signet. But it is unique unto itself, and there's nothing like it in the Scotch whiskey category. Nothing like it that we do except Signet, but there's really nothing like it in the entire category.
I will agree with that.
Lovely, rich, dark mocha tiramisu notes happening in that bottle.
It's a beautiful whiskey. It really is.
It's lovely, lovely.
So what's our ABV on this one?
46 there, fully non-chill filtered, and then you're looking at a bottle cost of somewhere between $225 and $240.
So it's a special occasion bottle, but not out of reach.
This was the 2016 IWC World Whiskey of the Year.
These 3, we're looking at travel retail bottles, which we get a lot of questions about. Not everybody goes overseas.
Understood.
But we do get a lot of questions about them. How are they similar or different to the regular line?
We have a dedicated line of travel retail exclusive Glenmorangie releases, most of them based, as these are, on original, with some twists and turns that make them unique. Cadball here is somewhat similar to Nectar. It's not exclusively Sauternes barriques, but French dessert wine barriques. This is a sherry finish, but it's an Amontillado sherry finish. This is mostly ex-bourbon oak with a little bit of virgin oak. So we're taking the same general philosophy and just going down some different paths in travel retail.
Okay. And what kind of price point are we looking at for those? I'm guessing it varies.
It varies quite a bit, between 70 and 100 US usually for the releases in travel retail.
Okay, so that's approachable and definitely something you can pick up when you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Now this last bottle, Andrew left on my bar and told me I could keep it. So I know this one was one of his favorites, the Astar.
Oh, beautiful.
You guys do a limited release on a fairly regular basis.
Pretty regular basis.
And this was one of those.
It was and it wasn't. We did a series called the Private Editions that went for 10 years. But this, when it was originally released in 2009, was intended at that point to be part of the core range. It's just that the popularity of original became such that we couldn't continue to bottle it as its own thing. So it went by the wayside after 2009, and then we brought it back as a single vintage dated expression of a star in 2017, bottled at 52.5 ABV, all ex-bourbon oak maturation, a bit like the Bionic Man of Glenmorangie original.
Man, you know what? This has been awesome. Thank you so
Great.
much for coming and helping us
thank you.
out.
Not that you had a choice.
Yeah, we did just bring it here.
Yeah, we'll get you an Uber to get back to wherever you were.
Take 3 days.
Don't go anywhere. Just stay here and drink
It
with
was
us.
in Rhode Island.
This is a lot to take in. I mean, you guys have been around for years. This is amazing stuff.
And the
so-
lineup is great.
I'm glad you all enjoyed
It is, and I think it's a fun journey for anybody that wants to literally do it the way you designed it. Start here and work your way through it. I mean, it doesn't have to be overnight. There's some really fun drams, and you can really taste a theme, a consistency throughout it all.
Right. If you think about it, there's a bit of an allegory to what you guys do. You try to take this thing that's complex and you make it approachable. You give people a logic stream to follow what it is that
I love it.
That's what we do. So, we have a lot of respect for what you do, and we appreciate that.
Well, thanks.
Awesome.
You know
Cheers.
what? We'd love to hear your comments below. Which one is your favorite? Got some stories. Tell us. Let us know what you think.
Absolutely.
Comment.
I know I can. There's going to be a couple I know that people are going to be like, I know I love it. But I'm interested to see what this can do as well. So,
Yes, too.
Make sure you like,
exciting.
subscribe.
notification bell, Thursday Night Lives.
Thursday, we're live.
We love to
Check
see you
us out.
all.
We'll see you.
And
man.
if you
Thanks so
see
much.
this
My
guy
pleasure.
out and about across the country,
I
make
can
sure
get
you
a hold of you,
stop
by
and
the
say
way.
hi.
You find me at Glenmo Dan on Instagram. It's just me, Dan Crowell, Crowell on Facebook. Dan.Crowell at GlenmoranGieUSA.com. I'm all around the country, U.S. Brand Ambassador for Glenmorangie. Drop me a line. I'd love to stay in touch.
man.
And he's a super
The
nice
man,
guy.
the legend.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
everybody.
Thank you, Dan.